Thank you for joining us on National Focus. I'm Mervin. Coming up, major infrastructural developments for the Warner community. The Honorable Petite Savanne MP satisfied with recent Cabinet Petite Savanne meeting, and aid bank on lending to farmers and hoteliers has been launched. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Think water, think life. Water refreshes, restores, cleans, and enhances growth. Potable water is a benchmark for development. DOWASCO is serious about its mandate to ensure easy access to potable water island-wide and provide sewage services for a cleaner environment. DOWASCO is your water and sewage company.
Thank you for staying with us. The community of Warner is benefiting tremendously from major infrastructural developments. Close to $80,000 is being spent on what is described as one of the most important roads to the people of Warner. On Thursday, GIS News was on site on the Warner Link Road and got a first-hand view of the ongoing work. Honorable Rayburn Blackmore, Member of Parliament for the Mao constituency, which includes Warner, emphasized the importance of this road to residents.
Where we stand is a very important piece of road in the community of Warner. Some years ago we had Heritage Day and we have started working on that link road. That link road is very important to the people of Warner insofar as the expansion of the village is concerned. So what we're doing now is continuing in that process to complete that road. As you know, historically, Warner has been a farming area, but I've seen people are building new homes and the place actually is developing. And of course, I think I'm very much happy for that. Of course, the road is being done by a local contractor, Starling Durham, and all the persons working on the road are actually from the community of Warner. So that really actually adds to the local economy in Warner.
Honorable Blackmore noted that work will be done on the playing field and the new basketball court is also on the cards for Warner.
We will be also embarking on additional works in the village of Warner. We're looking at constructing a returning wall to the playing field, also a basketball court for the young folks of Warner, because we have to prepare for this very important development that is currently going on within close proximity to Warner, namely Viewpoint Warner. We're talking about the All Saints University.
The Honorable MP believes that the All Saints University will transform the lives of the people of Warner through the creation of jobs. He says he looks forward to the commencement of the project.
As we have seen how Ross University has been able to transform the town of Portsmouth, likewise, I believe that All Saints University will present tremendous opportunities for the people of Warner, Jimmy, Mao, and Dominica on the whole. We're talking about prospects and possibilities for commercial real estate. People who are actually involved in farming will be able to sell their produce, and a number of jobs will be created both in the construction phase of All Saints University, and once the university is properly established, therefore, people will be able to find sustainable jobs.
In other news, the wait has ended for farmers and hoteliers who have anticipated the loan facility of $25 million provided by government to the aid bank for on-lending. On August 9, the government of Dominica and the aid bank signed 2 loan facilities for the high priority sectors of agriculture and tourism. On Thursday, a press briefing was held to apprise the media of the development and implementation of these facilities thus far. General Manager of Aid Bank, Julius Corbett, expresses gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit for his continued confidence in the Aid Bank. The Aid Bank received $10 million for the agriculture sector to be distributed in two ways: $5 million for pork and poultry and $5 million for other agricultural divisions. These loans will be granted for a maximum of 5 years with a 12-month grace period included at a 3% interest rate. Cobbett gave details of the line of credit.
With respect to agriculture, their true purpose is to do two things. One, to give you startup money. People don't have startups, so you got startup funds of it. And also to create working capital financing, right? So you have the capital expenditure to build, and then you have working capital. Now, with respect to the agriculture, there are going to be some specific. You're going to have a minimum of 6 cows. 6 sows, sorry, not cows, 6 sows, or 1,000 birds. Right? So if you have a situation where you got 500 birds and you have 2 sows, so on and so on. The minimum you're going to need to have is 6 sows or 1,000 birds.
Loans will not be granted for the purpose of refinancing. The Aid Bank General Manager explained the proposal of the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries in that regard.
A recommendation from the Ministry of Fisheries and Agriculture, a debt-to-equity ratio of 80-20. Now I want to expound on that a bit because people ask what I mean. It means that if you put 20% of your monies, okay, the government would do 4 times that, 80. Simple. 4 times the equity, 80%. Now this is remarkable. What we have done, what the government has done, is to have to reduce or increase the debt ratio so that you become more, the borrowers have more freedom to get the funds.
Cobbett made it clear that borrowers must have no existing arrears unless an agreement has been made with the bank. He also stated that farmers must present updated business plans to receive loans.
If you go into farming, treat it as a business. Okay? Business. So there must be a reliability of labor, consistency of labor, whatever is there available, you need to have that. You don't go on your farm at 8 o'clock in the morning and come back at 10 o'clock and say they will reliable. So you have to make that a business. You got to maintain your records, you got to have bookkeeping, so that when the lender comes and says, well, can I see how you spend the money? You can say, well, so much was spent on labor, so much was spent on materials. So you got to treat it as a business approach. You cannot do it vai-ki-vai.
With regards to tourism, on-lending will be granted for a maximum of 10 years to include a 12-month grace period at a 3% interest rate.
All new construction and upgrades must be approved by the physical plan division. You don't want to be out there doing things without authorization. If planning will give you okay to do it, then you have to work with planning. The eligibility for requirements, again, 80% to 20%, 80% debt, 20% equity. Loan requests which should not exceed 90% of the collateral. We're trying to be fair and reasonable to everybody here. There's no discrimination in that lending, so 90%. Again, no existing financial obligation or satisfactory arrangements being made, same as the farmers, same as the agriculture. Current architectural engineering plan for the upgrade of the expansion. So you're not saying, well, I want to do this, it has to have, agricultural plan must be current, okay. Because the objective here is to improve the quality of the plan, so we can all compete internationally. That's the issue right here. Compete internationally and increase the plan size and create some employment, of course.
The Aid Bank General Manager says borrowers must also have approval by the GIS Dominica Authority for upgrade and extension with an upgraded business plan in compliance with the Inland Revenue Division and Dominica Social Security.
The bank is extremely committed to ensure that there's smoothness in the operations. Okay, we don't like hiccups. Okay. I have been getting calls from certain hoteliers asking me for specific areas. Listen, if you have an existing condition, and I want to, a certain persons have made the calls, if you have an existing conditions with the bank on a loan, okay, those conditions sit by themselves, that's it. Any further decision on this existing, on the new line is going to be different from that. So for example, if you have a loan here with us, and we ask you for, let's say, a personal guarantee, for example, on that existing debt, that says, this new facility does not call for a personal guarantee, so that's a different ballgame.
This $25 million loan facility was promised by the Honorable Prime Minister in his budget address for the financial year 2016-2017. About 100 constituents of Petite Savanne displaced by Tropical Storm Erica will begin work under the National Employment Program this month. On Wednesday, 61 contracts were signed for interns to begin work in the health services sector under the program. More than two-thirds of those are from the Petite Savanne constituency. They will be employed as orderlies, domestic workers and ward aides. Member of Parliament for the Petite Savanne constituency, Dr. Darrow, says this is a win-win situation for the Ministry of Health and the Petite Savanne constituency.
The Ministry of Health for the past time would have been seeking the assistance of the National Employment Program Office in recruiting extra staff that they need, that they, of course, that budgetary allocations wouldn't have been able to provide for, namely ward, domestic workers, a few data entry clerks, etc. And of course, Petite Savanne constituency, and we all know what happened to Petite Savanne about a year ago, roughly about a year ago. And Petite Savanne being displaced, some of the people, of course, having difficulty making ends meet, even with all the government assistance. Some people still have difficulty, making ends meet. Others would be engaged in and around Petite Savanne in subsistence farming, selling little produce here there. So over the past year, so a number of young people, mainly young people, would have been approaching me as the PAN rep, seeking employment. So as I said, it was a win-win situation for both the Ministry of Health /PMH and the Petite Savanne constituency.
Besides, there's 40-odd persons who will be employed in the health services sector. Another 30 will work in the care of the elderly.
Care of the elderly, beautification and community cleanup within the communities of Bagatelle, Fontaine, Pichelin and Dubic. So another 40 somebody young people will be employed. And again, as I said, this speaks volumes to the continued efforts of the government, and of course myself as PAN rep, to see how we can continue to seek ways to make people's life easier. Because while we speak of Petite Savanne and of course Dubic, I mentioned Dubic, there'll also be a crew from Dubic.
The Member of Parliament says that this new intervention by government will not replace the displacement allowance.
Most of the people now being employed in the NEP, they were not really head of households. As I told you, they're mostly young people, and the rent and displacement allowance is being paid to head of households. So this would be, in a way, the other members of the family contributing, because while the rent is being paid and the displacement allowance is being paid, and I said really thankful for this and will be eternally grateful for this, but there are still, lingering needs, especially in the larger family units. So we're hoping that the younger members of the family, which will augment the family's income and make them more at ease, if there's such a term. Yep.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Introducing the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
Welcome back. The Honourable Member of Parliament for the Petite Savanne constituency, Dr. Kenneth Darrow, says he is in a much better place following Cabinet's meeting with constituents of Petite Savanne. On Monday, Cabinet held a meeting with those constituents displaced by Tropical Storm Erica to discuss matters of concern. In an exclusive interview with GIS News on Thursday, Honourable Darrow says he is happy his people got the assurance of hearing from the Prime Minister himself.
What this meeting did really is, even if myself as Power Rep would have met with them on a number of occasions, the community, smaller interest groups, etc., I think the people needed to hear from the wider government system, especially the leader of the country, the Prime Minister, because there were many lingering questions that ourselves that we would not have really the definite answers to. There are certain commitments that can be made only by the Minister of Finance, because they would these commitments, of course, would have financial implications, and myself, or even a Minister of Government, can make any commitment that is going to charge the Treasury of the Commonwealth of Dominica. So hearing from the Prime Minister, and especially I said the commitments that he gave people assurance, and even if most of the information that they got would be information that they would have received from other parties, the Petite Savanne Settlement Committee, the Technical Committee, and myself as Power Rep, hearing it, of course, from the horse's mouth, as we say in local parlance, would have really put a lot of the people's fears and concerns at ease, to rest rather. And that's why he said that sitting here today, I'm in a much better place than I was Monday.
The MP reports that according to feedback, the meeting was well received by his constituents. He is pleased that the genuine concerns raised by the people were addressed.
Some of the concerns raised were genuine concerns that it pertains to what is going to happen, for example, to the property they're going to be placed in Bellevue Chopin. Will they have the titles for what is going? Is the government willing to continue to make the road accessible to Petite Savanne? And the feedback from the community, in fact, each and everybody, was that it was just such a wonderful meeting, and I'm really looking forward to continue this dialogue. I don't think it should be a one-time interaction.
Honourable Darrow says the dialogue will continue with the people of his constituency. He informed that Cabinet will meet with interest groups such as farmers, bay oil producers and the youth to hear concerns on matters directly related to them. The MP is confident that the Petite Savanne residents are satisfied with government's response to their needs post-tropical storm Erica. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ce nouvel en Creole, non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, gouvernement Dominique facilité résident Petite Savanne, tapé dit terre les yo entré en caille qui bâti ba yo en Bellevue Chopin. Parole ça la sorti au Premier ministre Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerritt. Premier ministre Skerritt fait parole ça la pendant gouvernement, te joine et puis résident communauté ça la. Sinon Premier ministre Skerritt, si moun tapé caille en Bellevue Chopin, il pas qu'une ni pièce raison pour yo retourner Petite Savanne, parce l'occasion ça là bien vulnérable pour des as. Honorable Skerritt aussi dit résident, là yo tapé dit te l'occasion là, yo ça aller en banque taper loan pour développer ko ayo. En la nouvelle, gouvernement Dominique tient discussion et puis une compagnie qui a gardé en possibilité exporter de l'eau minérale en Dominique. Parole ça là sur le ministre Investment, Honorable Dr. John Colin McIntyre.
Actuellement, nous disons, nous les travaillons et puis nous bien quoi pour ça, parce que nous les vendons, parce que tous les jours, gloire gagne à toi dans la mer, ouais. Et là il y a la mer, oui c'est bon pour la mer, mais nous les vendons, nous savons les pays autres pays. Et là c'est monde là, boy, ils aller là pour aller à la mer, so nous savons taper de l'argent, c'est bien ça. So ça nous le fait. Now, nous regardez, il y a une place là, il est testé in spring water, so ça nous fait, nous regarder on va y avoir environmental impact assessment pour nous pour servir ça pour make sure ça nous faire Dominique qui est primaire pour Dominique. Nous prenons faire au bail glue comme si nous mettions ça là et nous pas garder quand si non petit problème là petit problème because si glue a sorti à la wash là alors terre et avec descendre Sel ça ne peut. Mettez un bail là, chebeglo, mettez des machines, mettez bouteille, c'est bail ça. Nous avons nous pas pour mêler puis place ça, damager place ça. So place ça. So pour moi-même c'est pas problème. Dominique c'est un bel pays, Dominique bien belle. Mais nous ni pour faire Dominique rester belle. Mais nous pour also nous pour taper ça Dominique à la nous pour nous vendre pour faire l'argent pour Dominique tout pour développer comme un pays Dominique.
Dans la nouvelle département GNS, qui a tapé service en consultant qui a travaillé formulé en policier pour GNS PA. Consultant Henry Charles, qui a travaillé à ces policiers là.
Gouvernement Dominique, Tehani yon National Youth Policy, yo teni comme 12 l'année passée. Bon, yo décidé, ça c'est assez temps. Chaque bagage a changé, en la terre, chaque bagage a changé un pays. So ça c'est temps pour yo visiter policy a yo teni pour mettre un policy neuf by jeunesse, by développement jeunesse à Dominique. So yo teni discussion et puis communal secretariat là, yo mande yo support communal secretariat là dit OK nous kay supporter nous kay mettre là devant et communal secretariat là yo sélecté moi pour venir faire travail ça là ici pour travailler et puis gouvernement et puis Jean-Dominique pour mener policy ça là devant.
Et puis finalement, le gouvernement Dominique dépensé plus que 5 millions de dollars l'argent pour assister les gens qui sont affectés par le temps américain. Parole ça là sorti votre chef comité service social, Honorable Justin Charles. Comité ça là été établi par cabinet pour assister les gens qui sont affectés par le temps là. Comité ça là collabore et puis stakeholders pour un support social et puis aussi pour payer l'ouillage l'occasion où là yo te kawete. Après yon sang avec 91 familles en Petite Savanne te évacué après des assassinats. Gouvernement aussi fait provision pour moun taper manger. Gouvernement aussi fait provision pour moun taper l'argent. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en Creole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Children, yell and tell. If someone tries to abuse you, tell until someone believes you and they do something about it.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Now for a few announcements. The Cultural Division informs all interested cultural groups, schools and individuals that registration is now open for participation in this year's Independence Cultural Competitions. Registration forms can be obtained from the Division of Culture, cultural officers, village council officers and district development officers in your district. The categories include quadrille, belly, heel and toe, flirtation, mazouk, sotis, jingping band, bamboo flute, mouth organ, drumming ensemble, court, kokoi tori, Creole song, group and individual, kokoi song and creative dance. The registration deadline is Friday, September 16, 2016. The Cultural Division invites all interested poets and writers to participate in this year's Independence Literary Competitions in English poetry, English short story, and Creole poetry. Short stories should be no longer than 2,000 words. Poems and stories could have any Dominican or Caribbean theme. 4 copies of each short story or poem, accompanied by contact details, should be submitted to the offices of the Cultural Division at the Old Mill Cultural Center in Kinfield no later than September 30th, 2016. All entries must be submitted in Word or PDF format via email to culturaldivision@dominica.gov.dm.
Introducing the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I'm Mervin. Thanks for watching, and join us again next time for National Focus.